Morning all, it's Kevin Walters here, the Nudge Coach. Well, this morning I was trying to work out myself where I would go to get some answers. I was debating some things in my head, wasn't really getting anywhere, and I'd forgotten, some of the basics, I think, which we all do when we're in a bit of a muddle. And so I was sitting there thinking, well, what's the best way to get answers? Where can we go to help us get outside of our head? There's a saying that says, if you're inside your head, you're dead. So where do you go? Well, you can go speak to a friend or a family member, and that's really, really useful. That might help you to reframe the situation or to come up with exactly the right question, so you can actually answer specifically what you're looking for. You can listen to YouTube videos, which I do, and TikTok videos, or a vlog like this. I find a lot of the time that when I'm doing that, what I'm really doing is delaying finding the right solution. And sometimes when we're venting to a friend or we're chatting to a family member, we are just doing that. We're just venting, and we're not really listening to some advice that we're given, because sometimes we're just not really interested, and it doesn't help us move forward. And I'm sure you've got friends or family members who just continually rephrase the same problem, the same issue. And so how can you move forward? Is it really helping you to find the answer? And the truth is, it probably isn't helping you. All you're doing is you're wasting time. You're pushing off the inevitable. If we want change in our lives, change in our heart, we've actually got to work at it. We've got to do something. And what we've got to do is we've got to change. We've got to make a change in our thinking. Now that sounds simple and easy. And for those of you out there, I do understand. My parents have passed. I'm fortunate to have some good friends. But like a lot of people, I tend to keep my problems to myself. But if you haven't got a friend, if you're completely alone, if you haven't got a partner, if you haven't got a family members alive that you feel that you can trust to talk to, it must seem, impossible, and we get trapped inside of our head and we don't get any answers. And if you find it very difficult to move forward, it's possibly because you're just not able to reframe things, come up with the right question. So how do we do that? What do we do to make that change? Well, we've got to kickstart the neurons in our head. We've got to start thinking in a different way. And how can we do that? What's the simplest, the least expensive way, and the most effective way to do that? And what I'm going to tell you now is nothing groundbreaking. This isn't brand new. I'm just reminding you of things that you've probably heard before or seen before. But are you actually doing them? That's the difference. Are you doing some exercises? Are you doing something different? Something that may make you feel uncomfortable, something you might find awkward or difficult. We all put off things just for ridiculous reasons, and we just let things go and go. So I'd just like to suggest two simple things to you, just to remind you of where you can go to find your answers. You're going to find your best answers from yourself. You have to look into yourself, because really you're only going to listen to your own advice. You may take advice or suggestions from other people, but ultimately you're going to make the decision what's right for you. So if you haven't got anybody to speak to, or you're continually regurgitating the same issue, the same problem, and it's not moving forward, these are my two suggestions. One of the greatest tools you can have is a pen and paper. And to sit down quietly on your own, and either just sit there and start writing. You'll find that you might go blank, you think there's nothing to say. It's remarkable having that blank page in front of you, how sometimes you'll just start writing. And normally it's just a top level problem or issue or something in your mind. And you would just write and write and write, and you'll be amazed at what you write. So it's a great way to sort of unburden yourself and get it onto paper. From the mind to the hand to the paper, it goes from the ethereal, there's something that's invisible, into something that's actually visible in front of you and physically in front of you, something you can see and believe. So writing down your issues, your problems is really, really helpful. And to take that one step further, once you've gone through your emotions about how you're feeling or what you're doing, you can start to put topics out and put a topic at the head of that blank page, something you want to think about and talk about. And you'll find that you'll write all sorts of things. And it may be not that topic that you're really worried about, or that issue. It'll be something else below that. So it's a fabulous thing to do. The second thing to do, maybe even before you start writing, or even afterwards, doesn't really matter, is to do some meditation. So what is meditation? You can read lots of books, you can go to lots of seminars, there's lots written, there's lots spoken these days about meditation. What I would say to you, it's simply sitting somewhere quietly and just having a moment. It's not a marathon. It's not some kind of contest that the more you meditate, the more time you meditate, the better you're going to get, the more mindful you're going to become. You're going to reach some kind of nirvana state. I don't personally believe that's true. It's not a competition. Meditation is a medicine you take for yourself. It's to help clear your mind. It's to help find some clarity. It's to help to let the waves of emotions or concerns or issues just wash through your mind and just come back to it, to once again the simple technique of thinking about your breathing, your heart. Just think about breathing, your heart, and go through that meditation. It's very simple. Now, these are two simple techniques that you can use, I can use. And why don't people use them? Why don't people do them? Well, some people just say, do you know what, I don't believe in all that rubbish. I don't need anything like that. I'm fine as I am. And some people just are, and that's absolutely fantastic. That's a great way to be. But an awful lot of people out there, and you might be one of them, I'm certainly one of them, need something a little bit more than that, need a little more depth in terms of a spiritual or emotional life. I like to ask the questions. So I really urge you not to be somebody like I can be. It's somebody who reads the books, somebody who listens to the TikTok videos, listens to the YouTube videos, listens to vlogs like this, but fundamentally doesn't take any action. If you don't take any action, you're going to get the same results as you've had in the past, and that's the road to insanity. So I urge you to have a think about this video, get out a pen and paper, and start writing down your issues, your problems, or the answers that you're looking for. Okay, I wish you luck till the next video.